So guys, it's 5:26. We're gonna go out, we're gonna go for a walk, we're gonna do a few things and come back and then you'll see. It's raining outside, but it is what it is, no excuse, Never ever ever sleep in. Always, even if you slept like 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, the reason is you don't want to like break your own promises. Well, that's one thing I learned. And obviously don't create like unrealistic expectations of yourself. But overall, highly suggest you guys just like, say for example, you're gonna wake up at that time, put your alarm and actually do it. So guys, we have this energy drink right here, but it's so clean. Like the ingredients are so clean. Like if you look at the ingredient list, we literally have sparkling water, organic coconut water from concentrate, organic erythritol, organic flavors, agave, citric acid, malic acid, organic caffeine, organic catechine, fermented sugarcane. Like the ingredients here are so clean, right? There's 15 calories, there's 0 grams of sugar. I drink this pretty much every day, especially if I don't sleep that much that day. And overall, man, it's pretty good. I mean, we slept 7 hours, I think, so that's better than the usual 5 hours I get. So we're gonna now work and I'll see you guys then. Alright guys, so I'm hungry. It's like 10:30 a.m. and for some reason I just can't focus. I don't know if it's because I'm sick or anything. I mean, my focus is just not there. I mean, I can keep on working like I usually do every day until like 4 p.m. without eating anything and just focusing on the work. But right now, what I'm gonna do when I cannot focus and like I feel like I'm not really giving my all when it comes to work is I try to be productive in another way, and that is to go to the gym. Because when I go to the gym, then I exercise and just mentally I just clear all of my thoughts. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna eat our first meal, which is gonna be oats. This feels like kind of cringe for me to like talk about like this sort of lifestyle, but I'm gonna go and eat oats with protein powder as kind of like a pre-workout, and also it's my first meal of the day. Maybe we're gonna add more food like rice and chicken, but anyways, we're gonna go and get a good cardio and gym session in. But first, let's cook. All right, so we're here. We just made the drink with the creatine, honey, and also, where can I find this? The EAA right here. So I'm ready to just crush the workout. I actually just took a nap, so I'm ready to just go all in. It's literally snowing outside. This is crazy. We're like in April. Man, I'm moving out of Canada. I'm actually moving out of Canada this year. I'm just gonna be in another country for growth purposes, but also because like Canada is just I feel like it's going down. I mean, if you guys saw like the currency, our currency just got weaker, so it sucks, man. We just got back from the gym. I can barely breathe because now I saw back exercise. Oh my god. It's only 5 minutes, but it kills me every single time. I can barely breathe right now. So yeah, now we're gonna take a shower and
Unfortunately for you guys, I'm not going to be filming myself there. You know, the lightest I've ever been in my entire life. You know, let's quick flex. Obviously, so guys, we're gonna cook a little bit. So this is raw butter. This is one of the superfoods in this world. You know, I love this. I genuinely believe that it's one of the reasons why I cleared my skin back then. We have chicken breast. I eat chicken breast. So basically, okay, this meal I'm about to show you, I'm gonna eat it 3 times a day, basically. Either that, or I might just add some beef, but we'll see. And then here, okay, we have some leftover rice, okay, from Poulet Rouge. So that's like a French Canadian brand. In Canada, man, they literally serve the best of the best, like, you can say fast food, but healthy fast food, if that makes sense. It's just chicken and rice and whatever you want, like in terms of vegetables, sauces, whatever. So we're gonna cook everything with the butter inside of the stainless steel pan that is really, you know, messy as you can see, but yeah, let's just do it. I'm not going to put any spices, and the reason why is I usually use garlic powder, and I don't have any of it, so I'm just gonna put salt. Let me know in the comments what can I do with the limited amount of spices that I have, because I basically have none, and you know, I'll be grateful. So here's the final deal. We cooked it. One guy I like to watch, his name is Alex Hormozi. You know, he does such great videos because he really puts like hard work into like a different perspective. And so that's the reason why I watch him. And obviously he has some good, like, you know, business tips and things of that nature. And so, you know, I watch it, like, you know, I watch him once in a while. Other than that, I don't watch many other people. But I highly suggest you guys, you know, go and give him a watch. So I was eating, and basically I kind of like got an invite to go to LA on like a 3 days trip. And you know, last time I went to Las Vegas in Nevada, and it was probably the greatest trip I had done in my entire life, to be honest. And so now I kind of have this conflict though, because the flight is on the same day that I have like a speaking event where I'm supposed to go and speak in front of, like, you know, it's more of like a local thing, but you know, there's gonna be, you know, a good amount of people, and I need to kind of like present in front of them, and I don't want to miss that because I'm not really experienced when it comes to public speaking, so I need to get better. But at the same time, like, this event is so nice, so I'm trying to figure it out. But before 2025, I just never traveled for like 10 years basically, I think, or at least 7 or 8 years, I'm not exactly sure. And so this is the first year, or at least like in October, I went to New York, and then in December I went to Spain, and then I went also in December, or no, in January I went to Boston, and then I went to Las Vegas, and then in February I went to France, and then I went to Morocco in March/April, and now we're probably going to go to LA, and then we're gonna go to Hong Kong by the end of April. I have like certain connections which allows me to really do this like very easily, and so I'm very grateful. And you know, I'm just looking back because a bit more than 2 years ago, I was just living just in a basement, and I was just every day doing the same routine. I would basically go to work, and I hated my coworkers. I was working in a clothing store, right, just selling clothes and everything, and I hated my coworkers because they would kind of like bring my aspirations down. You know, they would have this negative mindset. They would, you know, be the opposite of who I was trying to be, basically. And I genuinely, and I'm not lying, I'm not exaggerating or anything, but I had genuinely zero friends. For basically 2 years, I had like zero friends, not even a single friend. Obviously, I lived like in a city that was not really popular. I mean, you know, I also like made the decision back then to cut off all of the people from my life that were not serving me. Now, I'm not saying this from an egoistical standpoint, but if you know about my story, you know that I got bullied, I got insulted, laughed at, and I always felt weak, basically. And I knew that if I wanted to put myself online and also like start my own coaching and stuff, I kind of had to like give up on their expectations, right? Because I knew that they would probably laugh or show my videos to other people and just make fun of it or things of that nature. So I just didn't want that. I didn't want anything to hold me back, so I just decided to cut off everyone, the friends I used to hang out with. It was probably the greatest decision I ever made, because once you let go of like the old circle, the old people you used to hang out with, like it's easier to just like become the new person you want to be, right? And that's what I basically did. Now, it took me a lot of time and it was a lot of pain and suffering, even though I believe that pain and suffering is relative. But being in your home in a basement, just doing the same routine every day, and then going to work part time, and just feeling so lonely. I was feeling so lonely to the point where I would daydream, visualize that I was hanging out with other people, and whenever there was just one opportunity to hang out with someone, right? Like, let's say for example, like some family or some relatives that I actually wanted to be around with, it felt like so good, because I was so isolated. I was so lonely. I never been this lonely in my entire life, to the point also where it's like the progress I was making, reading books, gaining knowledge, I started to take less and less action. And that's when like it hit me, and I had to make a change, decided to move out. Here I live like in the big city here in Canada, and everything changed. So I'm just saying, sometimes you got to make some sacrifices, and there's going to be pain and suffering, but it is what it is. And I'll send you the info on your email for when it comes to the videos and everything. I'll do that right now. There's also going to be the onboarding form, so just like a few questions to answer. I mean, I'm just excited for you to, quit this as soon as possible. Obviously, I know you're going to be committed.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and try to focus into this as much as I can. I need to be completely free before my wedding. I have planned to get married this week. That's what God wants anyway.
I'm gonna make a onboarding video, which means like what exactly is going to be the process that we're going to follow.
Sounds good.
Awesome, man. So I'm excited for you, and let's talk on Friday at the same time, okay?
Okay.
All right, so guys, I'm showing you guys here that I'm writing the 2.0 version of my book. Not gonna lie, it's not easy. The first version has had a lot of like positive feedback. You can see how slow my computer is. It always says the page not responsive. But the first version of like the book, based on my students and the very few people who had access to the first version of my book, which is obviously unreleased and everything, as you can see here in my book right here, okay, like we had a lot of like positive feedback from it, right? But my goal is to make it so that people can really understand it to the fullest, right? I'll show you guys, like I've been playing with more images, right? This is more private, but we can, as you can see here, right, these are not this is not the final product at all, right? I'm trying to like really make it so that we can have like for example, images, so everyone can understand, or at least there's going to be, because I know there's going to be people who are going to understand like this text that you can say is harder to understand for the people who might not have the best ability to read, basically, right? In-depth text that uses, for example, articles, science, philosophy and things of that nature. And we're trying to make it so like everyone can understand it, even like someone who's like 16, 14 years old, right? Because our goal is to help 1 million men quit porn and masturbation forever, right? And so that might mean that I might need to rewrite the book 5 times. So I'm not gonna lie, at the moment I'm very, very busy with other things, which makes the book take a bit more time. And obviously I'm coaching a lot of people, and with coaching, the thing I'm also working on is many people, they just quit porn and masturbation and lust in the coaching, as you probably already know, right? Within a pretty quick time frame. So what happens is now they're left with now what, right? So they're left with, okay, now I want to tackle all the aspects of my life. And even then, even though that's not really like the that's not really the main goal for me to just like go and like tackle the other aspects of their lives, because that's not like the promise I made to them. The promise I initially made to them was you'll quit porn, masturbation and lust. and you'll improve other aspects of your life as a byproduct. Now I realize we need to implement more things. For example, how if they want to be productive, how can we implement that? If they want to, for example, go and create a business, how can they do that? If they want to go and pursue marriage, for example, how can they do that? If they want to go and learn how to remove certain emotions from their lives and really improve other aspects of their life, how can we do that, right? A big one, for example, is people that scroll a lot on social media, right? That's a big issue, and a lot of my students actually asked me for me to make a video on that. So I'm working a lot, as you can see, and we're going to be traveling within the next few months, which is an amazing opportunity. But that's the thing, you cannot be distracted too much. I mean, at least when you pursue something of that nature, it's like you cannot be really distracted, man. Like you want to be, I'm in my house basically all day long. I barely ever go out, except if it's with relatives, friends, and families, which happens maybe once a week on average. And so, man, it's a fun life, but at the same time it's a boring life, right? And I hope, and this, see, like this is not working, right? This is not working. I always says wait, but look, I hope you guys can really see my life and see that I'm just a normal human being, and that I'm just living a normal life. And I just work hard, and then I travel, and that's pretty much it, to be honest. And I'm building stuff on the side, also working on an app that's like a big project that I really want to get finished, but that's like, it takes a lot of time to do so, right? We have like a very good plan for those that might not have, for example, the money to invest into the mentorship, right? Even though we have a pretty good amount of people that are constantly joining the mentorship, new students. Obviously, I'm not saying constantly as in like people rejoin the mentorship, but as in like people that are interested and people that actually join the mentorship, that we coach them one-on-one. But my time is getting so limited one-on-one over the past few weeks, where it's like, at one point maybe I'm going to transition to group coaching at one point, not right now, but maybe at one point. And I'm going to transition into maybe also having someone else coach with me, one of my students probably, right? I have a few students who I know would be ready to do the job. So man, I'm just excited for what's going to happen. And just look outside, it's beautiful. It's probably going to be the last 90 days here where I live in this apartment, and then we actually might be moving towards something like Asia, where we're going to just live in a nice weather for a few months, and just really grow, because whenever you change locations, it allows you to grow so fast. That's what happened when I moved out here in my first place, in my apartment. And was like the greatest move I ever made, to be honest, as I mentioned earlier in the video. So let's just crush it, guys, and let's do it. So guys, it's almost 11 p.m. We've been working now for a good amount of time. So today, the total amount of time that I work, because I always track it, is here, as you can see. I don't know if you guys can see, but it says 10 hours and 3 minutes. Which is the usual amount of work that I actually do. And this is like based on the active work that I do basically, right? Throughout the day. And right now we're just like basically working on, new YouTube videos, the day in the life, the one I'm recording right now. And just overall planning things and trying to build things, because I really want to, get my book and get my app out. But it requires so much work, so I just need to keep on pushing. But I hope you guys really enjoyed that video. Hope we can show like my life, right? And that I'm just a normal human being. My life might not be the most exciting, as you can see, because usually what I do is I'll just lock myself in my room, and I don't even go out, except if it's to go to the gym and meet some friends like once a week. And I just travel like maybe once a month on average. After I just lock myself in my apartment for the whole month and just work there, 10 hours a day, go to the gym for like 2 hours a day, and then that's it, right? So yeah, my life might be boring, or it might be exciting. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed.